Miss Krisstina Wise, today our host, our guest, I guess we should say, from Wealthy Wealthy and one of my new coaches. So I'm super excited to have you back here and I love what you're all about. So take the stage, lady.
Hey, awesome. Well, I'm just so happy y'all showed up because it's a when we talk about this money thing, it's always a little hit or miss who's going to join in for the call, which I don't know. I love talking about money. I love making money. I love thinking about money. So anytime there's a money conversation, I'm in. So I'm glad that you guys are here with me. One thing that comes to the first thing that's coming to mind with me today is the name of this group, which is Power Girls. And put in the chat, if you will, like when we say the word power, power girls, what does that mean to you? How does it feel? What does it mean? This word called power. Control, awesome. Independent strength, great choices. Yes. Excellent. And so strong choices, control, independence. These are great. So would you think money is in alignment with some of these as far as influence? So can money be influence?
Yes.
Can money make us like feel strong in that sense of strong power?
Absolutely.
Does money give us choices?
Yes.
Does money give us independence?
Yep.
So the thing is, there's this word called power. We clearly, everyone here resonates with it. But for some reason, if we put money and power together, it gets like this negative connotation, like, oh, those are bad people, or maybe I shouldn't talk about these two words in the same sentence, like in the same conversation. And if we can extract any type of negative connotation or feeling with the words money and power and just say that these two words really can represent the same thing, is that if we desire to feel this sense of power of our lives, of ourselves, not over other people, but just to really feel that just this a feeling of power is powerful feeling, like you just walk with a different skip in your step and show up with a level of confidence that resonates and it spreads and other people notice it. And money is power in that sense, is that when we have money, when we understand money, when we can talk about money, when we're not afraid of it, when we understand how it works, when we like anything related to this thing called money, because these two words mean so much the same thing, when we really embrace money and bring it into our lives and the ability to, we understand it, we're confident with it, we have it. we we can sit down at a dinner table or a conference or workshop and feel can freely talk about any, most subjects that come up with money. This is a sense of power. So what I always like to say is that as women, one of the most fundamental things that we can do to get and gain a true sense of this feeling of power is to get good with money. And it's just, and out of all these years of doing this work now, what I've seen is women come in and start working with me at the beginning and they're afraid of money. They have stories like, I'm not good at math, or I'm a creator or a creative or an artist, or I just like to sell. I just like to help people. I just want to make a difference. I just want to do all these things and I don't want to worry about the money. I want somebody else to do that. And it's just like this money thing, it causes this cringe and kind of this coming in. And when we don't embrace money, it creates like the opposite of power. It creates a vulnerability or weakness where we cave in, is exposed to like being open and confident and expressive with, again, this thing called money. So I just love to talk about money with groups of women because, like I said, when we can start embracing this conversation, it's the quickest way to a sense of power. What's misunderstood, though, is that there are these different categories of money, that part of learning money and understanding it and developing a new relationship with it is to be able to know about these differences and how we need to relate and react with our money in these different categories. So anyway, I just want to start off by saying money and power and empowerment. And for us, if we want to just truly gain a sense of power and empowerment over ourselves and our lives and how we feel and how we portray ourselves, money's the quickest distance between getting to where we are to where we want to be in this control, independence. What else did we say? Influence, capable, these different words. All right. So was anybody here last time that we did this conversation? I know Don was. Anybody else? I'm going to change my speaker view here. Nobody else? All right. So I was wondering if I should talk about something different or something similar. So let's do this. We have a small group, so let's make this more interactive. I mean, I can sit here and be a talking head for 10 hours straight and never run out of things to say. But let's talk about now with money. What questions do you guys have, or what thoughts or concerns or fears or curiosities? What comes to mind?
I think I can speak on everybody's behalf, probably to, well, maybe not, but for me, it's always when I have it, my biggest fear is that someday I won't, and everything will be taken away from me.
Mhm. Yeah, that's has money been taken away from you before?
Absolutely. More than once, and a lot as a child. And I think that I've seen that come into my adult life so much to where it makes me fearful of investing in my business, of investing in things that I know are going to benefit me. It brings that fear because I've seen my parents have cars repossessed. I've had my furniture taken out of my bedroom that got repossessed, like just over and over. And it was just literally every single year something else was taken away. And it always had to do with money. And so I couldn't wait to become an adult and have, like, I wanted that to go away, but I didn't know how. Then I got my real estate license, 22 years ago, and I thought, oh, it's all up to me now. Well, what the heck? Like, it still happened. Like, it still is just something I've only in the last 5 years been able to change that mindset. And I think the biggest part of that was because I recognized scarcity and lack, and that's been my journey.
Mine was we went through customs and wasn't looking at me, and we like went all the way to
Sorry, I muted her. Hopefully she wasn't talking to us. Stephanie, were you talking to us? No. Anyway, so yeah. So that's my
Okay.
story.
Well, and thanks for sharing that. So thanks for even the vulnerability around that, because there can be like what happens, what first thing to say to that, Don, is that what I think many of us believe is that everybody else has money figured out. I'm the only one that has these feelings, these fears, these insecurities. Money is maybe just an issue at home, but because on the world out there, it looks like everybody else is making a ton of money and has it all figured out. And so it makes us feel bad about ourselves. And Zoom has all these different, yeah, I don't know what I did to create the balloons, but it's to know that nobody has money figured out. Very few people do. So when we're looking at our neighbors, or we're looking at other people in our office, or we're looking around, just know that nobody has this figured out because it's not obvious. And I saw a statistic last week, and 36%, so more than a third, of Americans who earn over $150,000 a year are paycheck to paycheck. And it's like 38% of those between 50,000 and 150,000 are paycheck to paycheck. So that means close to 80% of all Americans, regardless of income level, is paycheck to paycheck. And in real estate, it's commission to commission. So that's just tell us that we're not the only ones that haven't figured it out. But there's a reason why we haven't figured it out is because it's not taught. And it's what is unknown about money is that money is language, money is knowledge. And as we know, knowledge is power. There's that power word again. And so without studying this thing and without learning kind of these base fundamental principles and without doing some work to clear these old mindsets and beliefs, limiting beliefs that we get from our childhood, we just carry on these same patterns. And then with this belief that if I just work harder, all my money problems will go away. If I just make more money, I never have to worry about something maybe being repossessed again. So again, the kind of the takeaway here is just to know like nobody has this figured out. I'm not the only one. And on the good side of it is that money is really easy to learn. It has to be learned, but it's really easy to learn. And when you apply these principles, money starts to work out. But to Dawn, to your point, is that what the one part of money is called money mindset. We've all heard of this. And our mindset is set. That's what mindset means. It's a set.
And 5.4. And then his other one is like 2.3.
It's a set belief or understanding with money. So what we do is we carry into our adult life whatever we saw and heard with our parents. Most of us do. And we just kind of recreate those patterns. And so when I grew up, and like Dawn, my family had a lot of, started a trailer home, but my parents fought about money all the time, and we never had any. And we didn't even know if we're going to eat sometimes. That, sometimes it was powdered milk for dinner and peanut butter. That would be our dinner. So money, but because we didn't have any, my parents fought about money all the time. And I mean, it was screaming matches. My dad had a temper and, all sorts of things kids probably shouldn't experience as children. But as a kid, that just got stuck in my mind that money means it's a turbulent subject, and don't talk about money. It's not safe. And if I talk about money, it might cause a fight, and I don't want to cause a fight. And I just probably my parents don't know how to make money. So if I just go make a lot of money, my life will work out. And I got into real estate in my 20s and started making a ton of money. But then a few years into it, I wound up and I had tax liens because I didn't understand money. I had pretty much my car repossessed and was this close to filing bankruptcy. I think I mentioned I have tax liens. I had credit card debt. So I was like top 5 in my company every single year for 5 years when I first got it started, and I was making a lot of money. But my husband and I at the time, we fought about money constantly. There was never enough. It would be screaming matches, all these things. And then I'm divorced and I'm a single mother like my mother was. And then I'm trying to figure out how to pay the bills and how to do all these things. And what I realized is that, hey, I was making a lot more money, than my parents. In fact, I was making more money than most of the people in the industry at the time. Yet I'd brought forward those same money beliefs as a kid. There's never enough, fighting about money all the time, screaming matches behind closed doors, getting into debt, not having anything, getting a divorce and not being able to support myself and my kids. And it was just this like eye-opening thing. Like I thought I'd worked so hard to escape my past, but what I did is I just brought all those mindsets with me. So that's this first thing of money is it's really important to spend some time. This is something you can do, but really important to spend some time to think like, hey, what did I see and hear as a child as when it comes to money? How did I experience money as a kid? And how did that feel? And really almost put yourself back into that, our little girl selves, and we're like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And really sit with those feelings, because as adults, we put a lot of that out because there's something called money trauma. And money trauma is real. And one of my mentors told me that money trauma is real, but it's the one trauma that we run towards our entire life. So we're traumatized by this thing called money as a kid, yet we're still chasing it. Like, we don't chase any other trauma in our lives that we've experienced. We try to clear it and get away with it. So it's just to fully understand that like what Dawn was saying is that when we don't clear those and work on them, we can start making money. We can do these different things, yet we find ourselves in this similar pattern. Or if it's not the same pattern, like the things aren't actually getting repossessed, it's the fear of that same thing happening. So again, we want to get out of that place of fear and not enough and rewire the mindset to be able to start believing that, yes, there's plenty. So that's one thing. Do we have, what's another question or another like thought or feeling when it comes to money?
Linda Pena, did you have something?
No, no, not at the
Oh,
moment.
I thought you said yes when she
I
asked
know.
earlier, and then I interrupted you.
Yeah,
Come on,
any
y'all, this is a safe place. Let's share. I shared.
And again, I can lecture. I mean, I can lecture till the cows come home, but I really wanted to say, like, we have these money thoughts or questions in the back of our head, and there's really no one ever to ask them. And this is a safe place if we want to, put ourselves out there. Um, and just to have these types of questions answered. Anything like no burning money question?
How do we have 10 closings by the end of the year?
Did we get that one?
That was the title of our call today.
Yeah, so okay, right. So what Don and I talked about last time, that if I just if we bring up the subject of money, nobody comes. But if we said, like, hey, we guarantee you 10 listings by the end of the year, maybe we'll have a much bigger showing to see who shows up. So yeah, we can even talk about 10 closings before the end of the year. Absolutely.
But the more closings that you have, and I know this because I'm experiencing it right now again, is like if I don't do the right thing and take care of my money, it's not going to be there to take care of me. So, in order to have the 10 listings and have that be life changing, like I feel like I need to have a plan first. I need to have a plan for what to do with that money that I'm going to make.
Yeah, so let's break it up. So there are these three main categories.
Well, he showed up when it was
There are these three main categories of money, and you can write these down. So the first category, and think of these, I like to think of them like organs in the body. So let's say we have a brain, we have a heart, and we have our gut, all this gut health. I've found mold in my house. And the reason why I found mold in my house, because I did lab work that showed that I had mold in my system, and I did the lab work because I'm having all this gut problems, tons of gut issues, and not fun. So, and it all came to about like, oh my God, I have mold in my system. So gut, we have a brain, we have a heart, we have a gut, for example. And if any one of these systems aren't operating well, we feel disease, we feel sick, we don't feel powerful, we feel the opposite of powerful. So when we are unhealthy and don't have energy and have to run to the bathroom every 5 seconds or whatever the case is, it affects our day-to-day life. And so our body systems have to be working, and that's part of wanting to have a healthy lifestyle, is so that we can have energy and we can feel good. And if we don't, we get into a disease state. Money is very similar, is that when our money has to be taken care of, it needs the right nutrition, if you will. And if it doesn't get the nutrition, it's going to go into a disease state. And it has to be taken care of in these three different systems. So our brain needs to be taken care of a certain way, our heart needs to be taken care of, and our gut needs to be taken care of. And if any one of these systems is out of whack, it can cause big problems, and it can affect even the other systems. And so think of these money categories like these three very important organs or systems of our body. And money's like this, and it's these different systems. So the first system is what I call making money. So that's the category of making money. And each one of these is when our life isn't working out financially, we need to look at each one of these systems and break it down. And so the first one is making money. And sometimes it's our mindset that can keep us from making money. Sometimes it's just newer in business or something. So we're not making money because we're new at real estate and we just haven't built the business, that type of thing. But regardless, to function in our culture, to be able to afford the life that we want to afford, we have to make money. It's part of being here in Earth School is making money. And so that's one of the first problems that we need to solve in this money world is how do I make money? Meaning, what am I going to do with my career? My kids are both in their mid-20s, so they're figuring that out, for example. But it's what do I want to do to make money? And how much money do I need to make? And then based on that, how much money I need to make, what do I need to do to make that amount of money? But it's one category. So we have to get real clear on how much money you want to make. And then to become really disciplined, maybe, if that's the right word, to learn and to do the things and create the value, especially here in real estate, to be able to earn that amount of money. Period. And there's two ways to look at earning money. There's we as an individual, if we're single, and if we're married, it's family income. But how does the couple make money, for example? So that's the first category of money, is making money. And to make a lot of money comes with this, a certain hunger to make it. But usually those that make a lot of money are really driven because they want to make a lot of money. Like they're driven to that. And so, but that's like a decision, like I want to make a certain income and I'm going to do what it takes. But that's a whole category of money. And when we're not making enough money, we have this thing is called an income gap. Write that down, an income gap. And this is this income gap. And what that income gap tells us is I'm not making enough money to be able to fund my life and my lifestyle. But the thing about money, it's this equal amount of like emotion and mindset, as well as very practical numbers. And a lot of people might focus on, hey, I need to change my mindset, but they don't focus on the numbers. So your income gap is a number that write down income gap with maybe a line and write in there, what's your income gap? And if I ask most people what their income gap is, they might guess, but they don't know. Usually we're pulling these numbers from the sky. So the thing is when we start learning money and part of our money work and going back to Dawn, like I need a plan, one thing is part of this kind of financial overall plan is what is my income gap or what is our household income gap? So that's category number one. Now, when we're not making enough money and we have an income gap, that I'll talk about what that means in a minute, it means that we probably need to invest in ourselves to learn the skills to be able to make more money. And that's it. I mean, the money we make is really, it's mostly skill-based. And it's kind of skills and values, and our certain skills create certain values, and then combined with a certain work ethic. So that's income. The second system, the second money system or organ of money or category of money is it's make. The second is manage. So the second category is manage our money. And if we want to become powerful, financially free, have control, have influence, have the different words that we wrote down in the chat, the only way to ever get off the hamster wheel and get out of that 78% of American families that are paycheck to paycheck, one, you need to make a certain amount of money. But the second piece, these are must do's, like there's no escaping it, is you have to manage your money. It's make and manage. And that's managing in your real estate business. It's focusing on every commission dollar that comes in and every commission dollar that goes out and finding out if you're profitable or not, and building a business based on a profit number that's equal to the income you need to make. Again, very simple math. So you have to manage your money. Now, what I did in this first story that I told you is I made a lot of money, but I just put it in the household bank account and it got spent. I didn't manage it. I didn't pay attention to how much my business expenses were. I wasn't tracking my gas. I wasn't tracking how much I paid my broker. I wasn't paying attention to anything. And when we don't pay attention to every dollar, our money is like, our money loves attention and demands respect. And how we respect our money is by counting it. It's by telling it what to do. It's paying attention to it. It's respecting every dollar of it. And when we don't do that, it actually leaves our bank account and goes into somebody else's bank account. So these are part of these first principles of money, is that we need to make it, but then we need agency and autonomy and accountability and discipline to manage it, to want to manage it, to count it, to look at it, to know how much money we have in every bank account, and to manage it prudently. So that's the second piece, is managing it. We need to manage all of the income we make in our business. We need to manage all the expenses in our business, and we need to manage all the money that comes into our household and manage every expense of our household. And that's this second piece, is management and understanding how to do it and actually doing it. And again, if we don't manage our money, it's like, if we want to be healthy, and we want to be financially free, these two things, but we say we want to be healthy, but we're eating junk food all the time, and we're these little emojis, but we're eating junk food all the time. We're not exercising. We're not moving our body. We're stressed to the hilt all the time. We're not sleeping, all the things. Like, again, our body's going to respond by getting sick or feeling sick, or it's going to feel worse precedingly over time. Money's the same thing. When we're not giving it attention is nutrition to our money. So if we're not giving our body nutrition, it's going to rebel against us. If we're not giving our money attention, which is the nutrition of money, it's going to rebel. And part of that rebellion means we're going to be stuck on this month-to-month trap. So that's what's really important, is to understand that you need to learn how to manage your money, and you need to do that. Just like we need to eat a healthy diet if we want to be healthy. There's no way around it. We can't say we want to be healthy and eat a bad diet, and we can't say we want to be financially free and not manage our money. So that's the second system. The third system is so the first one's make money, the second one's manage money, and the third one's multiply money. And this is the piece where we need to put our money to work. So over 40 years of our career, because we usually start at 25 to 65 or 30 to 70, but what we as humans do is we spend 40 years working to earn money. So we do. That's, everybody starts at 25 and ends around 65, and maybe, goes longer, starts later or goes longer. But for somewhere in there, it's like a 40-year game. And it's to understand that money is a game. And it's this 40-year journey. So we're working for 40 years to make money one way or another, either as an individual or as a household, to be able to pay the bills of the household. And during that 40 years, we're working for money. But what most people do, close to 85%, there's not even that, like 82%, 82% of Americans, they work those 40 years and they never put their money to work. So the way we create financial freedom is you have to put your money to work. You have to put your time to work. And so with Epic Realty, for example, there's two great ways to do that. Part of, the time and money is that you guys can create downlights. It can create passive income that way. So that's something, but you also want to invest, like buy real estate. That's what I did from a young age. I started buying real estate, and the real estate today, I didn't just sell it, but I invested in it, and that turned into passive income. But that was taking a portion of the money that I made and investing it somewhere. But that's called multiply. And when we have put our money to work and have it start multiplying, our money then takes care of us. It's like it knows what to do, just like our body knows what to do. If we give it good food and clean water and we exercise it and we lift heavy weights, it's going to respond in a way that says, hey, I love you back. I'm going to create muscles for you, and you're going to have a lot of energy, and you're going to look good, and all the different things our body responds to. And what our money does is it responds with something called, I'm going to give you freedom. I'm going to give you control. I'm going to give you influence. I'm going to give you stability. I'm going to give you security. But that only happens if you put your money to work, so that when the money's working, it's working to create more money, but it's not about the more money that it's creating for you. The money that's creating that you're not spending, that's the money. What is giving back to you in the return is that financial security. It's getting you off of that hamster wheel. It's giving you that confidence. You're seeing the money grow. So it's make, manage, and multiply. These are these three categories of money. So you have to understand that these three pieces of money have to be at play. It's part of playing the money game. And money is a game, and you're either going to win it or lose it. And over 80% of Americans lose it. They lose at the game. They're financially stressed their entire lives, never reaching a place of security, confidence, abundance, passive income, independence, freedom. Only 8% of all Americans, only 8% ever become millionaires. And that's assuming $1 million net worth is even enough, only 8%. So these are what I call these first principles, and understanding that you have your income and your income gap, that making money. You have to manage your money to make sure that there's always enough that to pay the bills and have surplus. And that surplus you put into multiplying your money into more money, to put your money to work. And now we need to do all of that in numbers. So that's really great concept. I think we can understand those. They're not rocket science. But now going back to what Dawn was saying is I need a plan. So even if we can understand these kind of three frameworks, which I think we can all understand that, the question is how do I do it? Where do I start? How do I get out of the situation that I'm in? And that's this practical piece of money. And the great thing about money is it's simple math. So the formulas work. That's what a math equation is if something is an equation, it's predictable. You can figure out the result, what the answer is, because it's math. And so what we have to do is create this financial plan that starts with, and you want to write this down, which is how much money is enough? How much money is enough? And it's something, if we had more time, if we were like in a little workshop together or something, I'd be giving you like 15 minutes to figure out the answer. And when I do this in my workshops, it sounds pretty easy at first, but then you're like, well, where do I start? Like, I don't know how much money's enough. How do I figure that out? So it's, even though it's a very simple question, one, you have to know this answer. You have to know the answer if you're ever going to have financial independence, financial security, financial well-being, financial freedom at some point. You have to know the answer to this number. How much is enough? So if you don't have that answer already, or you don't know how to figure out what it is, then we need to do that. Yes.
I have a question. So when by enough, do you mean to cover our bills or do you mean to live in abundance?
Right on, exactly. That's just it. It's not obvious. All right. So the first thing is that does everybody want to be like financially free or retire one day? Everybody does, right? All right. So the first, how much is enough, means how much money is enough to be able to retire? How much money is enough to be financially free? So that's the first question we need to answer. And that's the starting point. And we reverse engineer everything all the way to the income gap from there. So you have to figure that out. And again, when we're trying to figure this out on our own, it's not as easy as it sounds. Like, well, I don't know. How much do I need to have by the time I, retire? And you need to know a few variables. So one, you need to know how much time you have. Do you want to be able to retire, be financially free in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Do you have 40 years? But you need to know the time frame, like when you want to hit this milestone. And what financial freedom is means that your money pays all your bills. You don't have to work anymore. That's what retirement is. Retirement is permanent unemployment, is basically what that is. So if you were to be unemployed, the question is how do you pay your bills? Well, your net worth pays your bills in most cases. Now, if you have a downline, you have a lot of passive income coming in that way. That's a great way, but we even want to talk about what to do with that money. But ideally, you create this what's called net worth, and this net worth is your money that pays you because it's been hard at work for 20 plus years, and it pays you in the form of passive income. Real estate's a good example of that. You buy a bunch of real estate, assuming you cash flow it, and you cash flow it to $20,000 a month. That $20,000 a month now pays all your bills and you're free. But the thing is that freedom is built over time, be through like appreciation through real estate, through compound interest in the stock market, for example. But that's how it grows to big numbers that will ultimately support you. So the younger you start doing this, the faster and the more money you're going to have at some later date. So that's the first, how much money is enough. Now, let's just say, I always like to tell everybody start with $1 million. And $1 million is going to provide, let's say, $50,000 to $60,000 a year is what you're looking at. So if you want more than that, then you might need more. But let's say $1 million produces $75,000 a year in passive income. So that becomes the first milestone, is I want to become a millionaire. How much money is enough? $1 million net worth, not including the house you live in. And that's money that's in asset value somewhere over there. So now we reverse engineer from there. And the second piece is, all right, how much money is enough to pay my bills? So that's looking at how much does it cost to live your lifestyle? And there's the lifestyle you live today, and then there's a lifestyle maybe you'd like it to be. Maybe you'd like to be able to afford a little bit more expensive lifestyle, but you decide. But you have to determine how much, like to the dollar, does your lifestyle cost? And again, this is part of managing your money, is knowing how much it costs to live month to month. And these are numbers you need to know. Like, it costs me $5,500 a month on, knowing there's going to be a little bit of ups and downs, or $3,500 a month, or $15,000 a month, or $16,800 a month. But you have to keep a very close eye on what your monthly spending is. And then you annualize it and say, okay, it costs me, to use this example, $75,000 a year to live my life. just making up a number. So if it cost us $75,000, that's how much is enough to cover my bills. And I know I need $1 million net worth, say 20, 30 years from now. What we have to do is, this is a simple math, if you guys can follow. Usually I draw this out, but we need $75,000 to cover our bills. But we have to determine how much money do I need to invest on, let's say, bless you, Don, on a monthly or annual basis to be able to produce that $1 million. And let's just say it's, let's say it's, I'm trying to think of the math here. Let's say it's $25,000 to make the math easy. So our, bless you again. So our cost of our lifestyle is $75,000. We have to invest $25,000 a year to be able to have that $1 million in 20 years. So what that means is I need $100,000 to be able to pay for my future self, so I can retire one day. And I need $75,000 to be able to cover my lifestyle costs. That's $100,000. Now, let's say taxes are like a 22% tax bracket, or say 20%, means I need to earn what, $120,000. 20,000 goes to taxes, 25,000 goes to my future self, and 75,000 goes to pay my bills. That means I need to earn $120,000 per year to be able to pay my taxes, put money to work, and to pay my bills. And then that tells me what my income gap is. And if I'm making $80,000, but I need $120,000 to be able to fully fund my life and my future life, I have an income gap of, what I say, if I make 80,000 and I need 120, I have an income gap of $40,000 a year, as an example. Or it's like, I just need to make, I need to make $140,000 a year. So now you build your real estate business plan around profiting. In that case, if that's numbers I came up with, was that 120 a year? 120 a year. So $120,000 a year. And then you can reverse engineer, okay, to make $120,000 a year profit after, I need 120 based on all this math that I just did. To run my business cost me, let's just say, $30,000 to make round numbers. That means I need to create $150,000 of sales volume, of sales commissions. Knowing that your broker is going to take out their piece and everything's going to come out into terms of $30,000, that's going to give you 120. But now you can say, like, you can, with just doing this very simple math that I just explained, you don't have to guess to how many houses you need to sell every year. You can just do, again, very simple math that says, okay, at this average commission, I need to sell 10 houses at this average commission to make $150,000. And that's going to allow me to pay everybody. I'm going to profit 120. And as long as I make $120,000 a year, my life is fully funded. And as long as I do that, I can know I'm going to build financial security. I'm going to build towards that financial freedom. And now I don't have to worry about money anymore because it's working. And, any one of these pieces we just identify, like, hey, I have an income gap. And sometimes in real estate, it's sometimes the side hustle or something, but it's really important to know all of these very simple numbers. I just went through everything in like probably 10 minutes. And this is really all you need to know when it comes to money. Like, but you have to know these numbers. How much money is enough doing this type of exercise? And then you just create a plan and just, your own kind of accountability around staying on track. And if you have a problem, like I have an income gap, we have these gaps. I have a net worth gap of, let's say, $1 million. So I need to know how much I need to invest to be able to close that over the next 20 years. I have an income gap of $20,000. But if I close my income gap, and now I'm making $120,000, and I make sure that I'm taking off that first $25,000 to be able to put towards investing, and I live off everything else. I don't have to worry about money. Money's going to grow. And it just starts growing, and it just starts growing, and it starts growing. So wherever the money's coming in from, we want to put it to this type of formula, this type of test. And again, once you start doing this and you put this way of, when you put the plans, like what Dawn said, is when you know these numbers and your whole kind of financial part of your life is organized around hitting these numbers and closing these gaps and managing your money to make sure that you're on track to do this, money just becomes something you don't worry about. I mean, imagine waking up every day and you just don't even think about money. You just don't think about it. It's just there. Everything's taken care of. That's where we can all be. But money is such a stressor. Again, over 90% of everybody that wakes up every day, or at least during part of the week or the month, has in their gut, they're stressed about money. They're concerned about money. They're fighting with money about their spouses. They're overwhelmed by it, or even sometimes there's a lot of money there and they haven't fixed their mindset. They're still worried about losing it all, maybe. So that's just a very simple formula. So I'll just stop and answer any questions and see if that made sense. Dawn, did you have a question?
I did, well, more of a aha. So in writing those down, because I've been taking notes, like I have I'm a note taker. But looking at making, manage, and multiplying, and where I am in that journey, I feel like that first one, even though it says making money, like that has so much to do with the mindset part.
Mm-hmm.
Because whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are correct. Like, because even though I always thought I wasn't making enough money, I was making plenty of money. I just wasn't managing it. But until I got the right mindset, I can't move down that line. Like, I'm not going to be able to multiply it if I can't manage it. I'm not going to be able to make more of it, or even know that I need to do 2 or 3 without having the right mindset.
They're both, Dawn. So yes, they're all three: mindset and skill set.
Yeah.
So if we don't believe in ourselves, then regardless of the amount of skill that we have, if we don't have the self-worth, if we don't believe in ourselves, if we're lacking confidence, it's hard to go out there and get the clients and to make the money in real estate, for example. So that is the mindset and kind of our own inner work that can keep us from making money. So when we change that mindset and believe, like, yeah, I am smart, I am worthy, I am a hard worker, I do a great job, people are lucky to work with me, I am definitely better than any other realtors out there. So when we believe that about ourselves, that causes us to go out and have the confidence to make more money. So that's the mindset piece. And so yes, if we're lacking that mindset piece, we're not going to make enough. The other part of that is skill set. So in real estate and in any profession, but in real estate is our example, is that it takes a certain skill. Like, a lot of what we invest in is getting marketing skills. I'm paying a ton of money to learn new marketing stuff right now in my business. I mean, I just spent $60,000 to hire a coach to help me with marketing. And if you guys follow me, you'll start to see some of my new ads and some of the things I'm doing. But I mean, I just made, like I said, $60,000. I just wrote the check for 60K for my business to learn a new skill. I've been in business for 25 years and I'm still investing to learn skills because I'm still want to make more money in my business. But that's skill set. So we have to learn marketing. We have to sometimes learn sales. Sales is a skill. I've invested well over $50,000 in my career to just learn sales between sales programs and sales coaches and sales masterminds and sales conferences for no other thing than just learn sales, because real estate was sales and I wanted to get good at sales. So those are skills. And I made more, even with the mindset that I had when and I'd say I have a pretty strong mindset these days, but even with my mindset, I still need to invest in certain different skill sets if I want to make more money, to keep up with the marketplace, to create certain values. So it's just to understand each one of these is both mindset and skill set. When we go to the manage piece, that's the make piece. When we go to the manage piece, we might be great at making it. Let's say we're making $250,000 a year in our pockets. So maybe we're great at making it, which puts us in the top 10% of all income earners. So we're great at making it, but if we have a mindset that I'm not worthy of having it, we have a mindset of like, I'm not smart enough to manage it, we have a mindset that I'm not good with numbers, we have a mindset that I don't know, if I manage it, maybe I'm ungrateful, whatever that mindset is, that's going to keep us from doing the behavior or the habits of managing it, is that mindset piece. So again, we have to clear those up. And if we can rewire those to say, I love my money. I love managing my money. I love counting my money. I love this relationship I have with my money that we get to spend so much time together. So when we change that, then we're going to manage it even better. And that type of management relationship with our money is going to allow us to grow so that we have the money to multiply. And then the third category where the mindset piece is that I'm not good at investing it. Investing is scary. It's risky. What if I lose all the money that I've made by a bad investment? Investing's for men. I'm a woman. Like, what do we know about investing? That's a man's game. These are subconscious beliefs, but most of those that invest are men. Most of those programs out there teaching investing are men. I know because I teach investing and I'm in the room with all men that are teaching money and investing. Like, I'm one of the very few women that teach investing and teach the investing mindset and do this and have built my own fortune as a single woman without any man's help my entire life. So, but that's that mindset piece, is that it's like, no, I am a woman and I'm great at investing and I'm going to become a millionaire and I'm going to learn this. But we have to have that mindset to want to do it. And then the skill set is you need to learn some skills about how to invest in real estate or how to invest in the stock market or how to do the different things. And like I said, the middle one, you have to have the skill of how to manage your money. It's a skill. So all of this with this thing called money, it's just, I mean, it is tight. It is mindset and skill set. And if you have one and not the other, it's going to cause some type of financial strife in our life. And there's even mindset, one final piece, and then I'll stop talking. But I find that what I found now from my work of doing this for for like 20 years is that there's these three categories of mindsets. There's always everything's these categories of threes, I've discovered. But the first category is like what we talked about, is just the mindset, whatever that is that the person just can't make enough money. They're just stuck at a certain level. They can't get out of it. And it's the problem is being able to make money. And there's the mindset to clean up around that. The second one is the mindset of not being able to keep money. So it can make a lot of it, but there's like an unworthiness or something attached to it. Like, I don't deserve to keep it and have it. So that's a lot, that they can make a lot of money, but they never have it. It's always, the bank accounts are always empty. So they don't have an earning problem. They have a keeping problem. And that mindset is just something in there that says like, I shouldn't have the money. It's like, it's not safe in my hands. It needs to be out in somebody else's. So that's that second mindset, can make it, but can't keep it. And the third one is good at making it, good at keeping it, terrible at spending it, because they're so afraid of losing it. So all of these are like these negative low vibration mindsets, but they won't spend it. They're misers. They have tons of money and they won't spend on anything. They won't take a vacation. They won't help the kids out. They won't do these different things. And it comes from this fear of losing. I worked so hard for it, I don't want to lose it. And so they hoard it. So again, that's no healthier than the others. I mean, because money's meant to be spent. Money's the reason why we make money and we grow money and do the things is so we can spend it. That's the beauty of money. Money creates, the different parts of money. The security part is what's called net worth. The security part is cash. So the cash is the money that says like, hey, I have 6 figures sitting in a bank account. So if something goes wrong, you know, I I don't have to worry. Like I'm covered. Like I said, I just found out I have mold in my house. I don't know how much money this is going to cost, but thank goodness I have some rainy day funds there um, to be able to cover this. Imagine if I was month to month and now, I have a construction crew coming in on Tuesday to tear my house apart. I don't know if insurance is going to cover it or not, but I have to get rid of the mold. This is the situations we create for ourselves. So we don't have security. We have financial insecurity because we don't have cash. So you have to have cash available to cover things like when you find mold in your house, or you have a deductible, or the AC goes out, or the dishwasher breaks, or whatever the case is. So that's security when you have available cash. Then there's financial independence, which is that independence and freedom, which is the portfolio. That's net worth, and that's that piece. And that's where you feel like you have more control over your time and what you do because your money's working for you and you have that net worth is growing. That creates this confidence. This creates this stability and confidence, knowing that your money is growing and your future self is going to be taken care of. So it gets rid of that back in your feeling is, what if I don't have money when I retire type of thing. So there's that piece. And just knowing that we need to make enough. We need to save enough to have that security piece. And then we need to be able to have that third bucket where it's going to create that financial independence over time.
I love it. Such good stuff. Great talk, Krisstina. I'm a big fan. You already know that because I signed up for one of your programs. But for these ladies here today, if they want a little bit more of you and they feel like they want to dig into one of these 3 areas, do you have a workshop or do you have something that we can share with them that can lead them to a little bit more of Krisstina?
Yeah, so 2 things. I'm going to give you a hard one and an easy one. And so the hard one I put in the chat. And this is for those that like the hard. And the hard, just a different screen came up. There we go. Dawn, is that your screen? So
No.
the hard one is click the link that's in the chat. Click it right now.
I think that's Mary. Hold on one second. Somebody is sharing their screen.
Not
Mary,
me.
are you with who was able to? Okay, there. Okay, I don't know who that was. Sorry, Krisstina, go ahead.
All right, so again, the hard one is in the chat. Click the link, and that's going to take you to my calendar. And what that is we'll set you up on the calendar, and we're just going to have a chat. There you go. And it just says book a call today, and we're just going to have a chat. And we're just going to talk about you, your money story, your current financial situation. And we're going to problem solve together, and I'm going to give you any type of consulting advice or anything that you answer the questions that maybe you would ask me personally, but you don't want to ask publicly. And just set up a call. Now, the reason why I say this is hard is because what's going to happen is it's going to surface all of our insecurities of what if I sound stupid when I talk to Krisstina? What if I don't know all my numbers? What if she judges me? What if I'm going to feel embarrassed because, my financial situation is XYZ. So that's why it's hard, because we have to get over those feelings and those insecurities or whatever those are to be able to have the call. So, but again, I can promise anybody that sets up a call, I've been in the same financial situation, if not worse, at some part in my life. And I'm an example of having the worst things happen, starting in a really, abusive, terrible beginning of a childhood, losing my money more than once, being in a terrible marriage where my money was stolen. And I mean, I can just go on and on and on to talk about lots of stories about my life and money and all the mistakes I've made and all of it and the terrible situations I've found myself in. And yet, learning these principles that I teach and talk about, I've been able to pull myself out of those and go on to create financial freedom. So I just like to say, like, I'm an example of what's possible, even making the worst money mistakes that anybody could ever make. So you're never going to find your situation where you'll be embarrassed because I'll, for play, I'd say, let me outdo you. So that's the hard thing. The second thing is if you don't want to do the hard thing, let me find the thing, challenge. So click this link. And again, the shortcut, the hard is usually the shortcuts. The shortcuts to set up a call, and we're just going to handle your situation right away and get you set up. The second link here is on November 4th, I'm having a 5-day money challenge. And so I'm going to be teaching a little bit of what I talked about today, but just more detail and really break down the money management system that I teach. And we're just going to break down money and break down everything you need to know about it over 5 days. So it'll be 90 minutes. It'll be noon. I think it's noon Central, December 4th through 8th. And for 90 minutes, I'm going to be teaching on money. And you'll take notes and you're going to get a workbook and all the things. So this is just a nice little simple program to go through that's coming up here just in a few weeks to be able to learn about money. And it's just you'll learn so much because money's not taught in school. And when you start learning these things, it changes your life. So this 5 days, I call it a challenge because you're going to pay off some debt. You're maybe invest your first money. You're going to be able to, I'm going to give you these money challenges each day where you have something to do with your money so you can start to learn the practices you can take to change your money situation. So that's the easy one. You just sign up and don't have to talk to me. You'll just listen in for 5 days and improve your money game. So I'll complete all that by kind of ending where I started, is that money is this game. It's a game of life. It's part of the game of life. And when we can learn the rules of the game, when we can learn the simple strategies of the game, when we get on the field and we start playing the game according to rules and strategies that are guaranteed to create the financial well-being that we're looking for, then it's pretty easy. But it's just a matter of learning. So that's what I've got today. Any final questions or thoughts?
Thanks, Krisstina.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good to see you. I'm so glad you showed up today.
Thank you. I was a little late, sorry.
Yeah, you're getting your dental work done?
Hmm.
Are you getting dental work done? Did you say?
I got that done already. Now I'm gonna have, well, you don't need to know my ailments. Yes, I did. Thank you for asking.
Good. Awesome. Well, and Dawn, I look forward to really working with you and anybody else that wants to join us. We're going to have a good time learning and doing this whole money thing together.
Krisstina,
So
thank
excited
you
that I
for
signed up for
coming.
it.
Oops, sorry.
So thank you. Yeah. Well, I signed up for kind of a next level thing that starts in November, and I'm so excited. And I'm just excited to get that money management part going.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You got the earning piece, when we get the management piece, I mean, it's money. So anyway, well, you guys have been amazing. Please sign up.
Charlotte has a question. Sorry, Charlotte has a question.
And the 5-day challenge is separate from the November 7th event, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. And so we just go to your website and sign up?
Yep. And the link I just put in the chat.
Oh. Let me follow through with suggestions. Here we go.
I'll be putting it in the recording too that we'll share in the group.
Okay.
I
Thank
saved
you.
everything.
Appreciate it.
All right. Anybody else?
You know what? I want to also say real quick that you have a great YouTube channel that you've been working on. So I am loving those videos. So that's another way you could follow Krisstina.
All right, I'll put that in there too. Thanks for saying that. Just to, when we talk about like mindset and let's see, what is it? YouTube. So just so you guys know, can do talk and do. So here's my YouTube channel. It's a fun place if you just want to listen in, but I've had to overcome to do this YouTube channel. I've had to overcome like all my own limiting beliefs because to get in front of the camera and just talk to whoever may or may not be listening. And the whole story that goes through my head is, man, what if I sound like an idiot? Or what if that doesn't make sense? Or what if they judge me? Or, I mean, all those things go through my head too. And those thoughts kept me from creating a YouTube channel for, I wanted to do it for a couple years, but just whatever, that's the subconscious things, I always had an excuse not to do it. And this year in March, I finally started it and just, I'm like, I'm going to do it anyway. So it's just to understand we all, bump up against some type of ceiling of where we are afraid to be judged or afraid to be vulnerable or whatever the case is. So when I hear the compliments, it makes it's really big for me, Dawn, because again, I've had to overcome so much just to do this. So the reward that keeps me going is positive feedback. So thank you.
Well, they're great. I literally have been sending them to my kids.
Awesome.
So they're good. I love that you're doing YouTube. YouTube is such a great place to share information.
Yeah, and it is fun. The reason I love YouTube is because I can do just like these little sound bite, like teaching these shorter things to, if you start listening to YouTube channel, over time, you'll just see the thread of how everything starts connecting with money, that where things feel disconnected, there's a thread that connects it all. And that's what I'm wanting to do with YouTube, is just teach money in these short pieces, like 15 to 40-minute segments at most. But over time, like if you keep listening to him, it's like, I'm starting to get this. This is starting to make sense.
Yeah,
Now,
I love it.
yeah. So thank
One
you.
of the things I love that you said today too is you called it Earth School. Like it takes money to live, to go to Earth School. Like we're here and it's just a game. Like I love that, and especially I think at my age, like it's easier on the other side, like of 50 or so. Like I already did all that. Like now I need to be serious about this, and I've wasted a lot of time not doing the right thing, and I just want to, really take advantage of what time I do have left so I can have that retirement, because I didn't do such a good job at Earth School. So I'm not going to fake it or pretend that I did. I didn't. I sucked. I wasn't taught,
Yeah.
and I want to learn.
None of us were. So that's the thing. Like once we decide, like, yeah, I want to be part of the 8%. And that 8% is investing in, again, this knowledge base. But once you know it, it's so easy.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you so much. All right, you guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Be well. Eat your vegetables.